Hi, so just a quick video to show you how to set up a OCR job on our Verisens application suite. So let's get started. So you can see I've got a supermarket packet of bread here. In this case, it's Hot Cross Buns in a standard packet with a printed area here. And you can see a little batch code here and also best before date here. So off we go into our tools, go into identification. In this case, we want to use a text box here. Set up the text box. Let's get the orientation of the box correctly. See, the arrows indicate which direction the text is in. So just align it, drop it over the text that you see there. And we can use our masks or date formats that we want. In our case, you can see what sort of formats of date you've got available here. But for us, let's do it by character. So we've got a number, letter. And you can see automatically it's guessed that it says 15th of April. And there we go, the red text is here. If that's the expected date we want to see for this whole batch, we can ask the camera to do the pass or fail by itself on the red text by saying, right, the expected value we expect to see is 15th of April. The red text that we see is 15th of April. It's a match, so that means it's all green and happy. If I change it to say the 16th, you can see now it says the string does not match the expected value and it will fail. If I put that back in, it all goes green again and it's happy and running okay. You can use the thresholds to create the boxes around each individual digit. You can see as I play around with that what happens to it. And you can see visually what's a good outline for each one, and it's still matching here. You can play around with some of the characteristics of the text that it's reading. So is it a dark text on a bright background, or vice versa? But most of this is done by automatic teach when you draw the box around the code to be read or the text to be read. You can also filter the size of the contrast or the weighting of the actual text itself. You can see as I play around with it what happens to it there. So we do it to a level that looks good, looks acceptable. You can zoom in to get a better look. There we go. Quite clearly you can read all the text. That's okay for me. So click OK. Screen. If I also want to read the batch code, again, let's make another text box, and we can go for this code here. So just draw around it, and it's read it pretty much straight away without having to do any manipulation. If I just zoom in, the text did read FLBNR3. And there it is, reading it exactly as it should be, and it's picked up the mask exactly as it should be. So all characters, and the last is a number. You might want to play around with the filtering just a little bit, even though it was correct. That looks a little bit better. Again, if I expect that batch to be correct, or the same batch for this run, you can put the expected value in there and click OK. And now it will give us pass or fail every time the next packet comes along and the batch is present and the date code is present. If you also just want to see if something is printed, you can use this method and use an expected value, or even if you don't want to see an expected value, so the dates can change, but if you remove that expected value, it will give you a pass or fail of just if it reads anything at all with this format. So 2 digits and 3 characters. So if you wanted to do that, okay. But you can also do it without using a actual OCR tool. You can use something like a feature comparison, do some sort of contour comparison. Contour points may work. So let's try contour points. So if I put that in there, you can see if I've got characters written there, you see I've got lots of contour points. If I move it to an area where there is no text, you can see the contour points are 0. So that's another way of giving us a pass-fail by counting the number of contour points within an area. You could do it that way. Or you could do it via a brightness or contrast tool. So if I go to contrast tool here, and again, let's make a rectangle. Again, I can say, right, in this area, I expect some sort of text to be written. When there is, you can see I get around 68 units of contrast. I then move the box over to an area that has got very little or no text written there. You can see that the level of contrast that you see is very low, and within our thresholds, we can see that it's a fail. When there is something written there, you can see that the contrast is between our high and low point that we've set. And of course, we can set the high and low point where we think is appropriate, depending on the size of the characters and the different digits that are there. So there'll be some slight variance if it's a number 8 or a number 4 or a number 1. Again here, you'll see there'll be a slight difference on contrast. So got to make sure that the pass and fail band is big or small enough to be able to capture all digits that you expect to be there. So that's just for presence and absence of any text is being printed or not. But the text reading tools will give you a pass or fail if there is something there, and if we've put an expected value, if it is the expected value there, we expect as well. But if we leave the expected value as empty, it'll give us a pass or fail of if anything's been read in the format that we've expected it to come out. We also have the opportunity to output the string information if required to the PLC, if we're not just using it as just a pass or fail type device. So if we wanted to output what the expected date was on here, we go to text 1, select the red text, and you can see here it outputs in a string in the preview here, bar that you can see 15th of April as it's read here. Again, if we wanted to output the second text here, and you can see it's outputting the batch code. If we wanted to put a separator or some sort of symbol to be able to strip it out in the PLC, rather than doing it by the number of digits across we would see it, you can put any character in you like, letters, numbers, symbols. For example, you can put say the pound sign in or commas in, and you see if I put those in, you can see how it splits the data up here using the separator. If you wanted to put a start character in or type in start or put in end, you can do that, or even just a character, a, D, something like that, and you can see what the preview looks like. So there we go, nice and easy to set up, very intuitive, just some simple OCR tools or some contrast or contour points to check whether anything's been printed on the packet and if it's correct.